What's up everyone? So the plan for today, it's a miserable day outside. Plan is to build a bit more of this furniture, so up to now I've kind of put it off after the fail of building the little house drawers thing that you saw me build the other week. I've kind of ignored it up to this point. You know, I had a bit of a brain fail there, so I figured I wasn't really quite ready yet to be doing this. But we've got an appointment on Wednesday, which might mean that he's coming a lot sooner than we think. So you know, he's 8 weeks away. But there's a possibility that we might be going for an elective C-section at this point. Well, that's the current thinking anyway, you know, and then at least we can schedule it a bit better and guarantee that I'll be able to be there and that sort of thing. And so yeah, time's ticking. We've got to get all this built and ready and make sure we're up and running, ready for if he comes. Somebody pointed out to us yesterday as well that, you know, 6 weeks early is not that early really in the grand scheme of things. That's not unheard of. So it may, you know, we kind of need to be ready in the next couple of weeks really, because you never know. Yes, we can see it now. Ready for action, ready for big walkies. You're not going to do some tricks for the camera? What about high five? No, that's rubbish, Daisy. Let's try again. High five. No, high five me. High five this one. High five. Rubbish. So we're having a bit of a break from building the furniture. Emma's taking Daisy for a walk. I've got to empty the car because we finally made some headway with that. I'll tell you about that in a minute when I get into the garage. Noisy garage. So this car that's been nothing but grief for us since the seizure, a friend from the gym has helped us get some headway at last. with the companies that were involved, who basically up to this point all just washed their hands of it and said, yeah, not our problem, no sympathy whatsoever, bollocks to you. So we're now in direct contact with the MD of the company that was least involved in buying the car, and he bless him has taken it upon himself to try and sort this out for us, and he's pulled some favours from other people in the industry, and so tomorrow the car's being collected. They're going to sell it for whatever they can sell it for, return 100% of the profit towards paying off our finance, and then once that's all said and done, it'll be a case of we've then got like, I don't know, a couple of £100 probably worth left of payments to make slowly over the next year, I think. But at least it's something, because up to this point we thought we were basically just going to be paying for this car for years. You know, the state of my driving at the moment is basically no driving for at least 2 years now. From the radiotherapy finishing, it's at least a 2-year wait. Oh, state of this garage, man. This was supposed to be a gym. Look at the state of it. So I guess job number 1 is going to actually have to be tidy garage to make space for all the stuff that's in the car. And that is that. So that car is now ready to go. So somebody's coming to pick it up tomorrow, and that should be the back of it, and then we'll cut down to 1 car. Emma can get a more practical car for what she's going to need for being, you know, the single big family car that can fit, you know, kid, pram, dog, potentially luggage if we're going away, so that sort of thing. The car she's got at the minute, you can't really tell from here, the doors aren't practical, they wouldn't work. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend this car to anyone who's got a kid or having a kid. So Mazda MX-30. So I'll show you. So the doors open like this, but one goes that way, and then this one goes that way. So where does a pram go? In there while you're trying to get a kid in the back. Doesn't, does it? Doesn't work. Well, annoyingly, just before I started this new job, this car was going to be perfect for what I needed, and then obviously with everything that's happened now, it's now just a waste of money sat on the drive. So noisy door. Oh no, come on. There we go. We can get a little glimpse of our pumpkin display that we did from the other day. Corn again, there he is. So right now I've done that, with the break in the rain, I can get back to building furniture. So back upstairs now. I've had a little flick through the rest of the instructions, and it looks like the rest of this now is a one-man job. So I should be able to crack on with this while Emma finishes walking the dog, and all being well, I won't mess it up. Fingers crossed. Great success! Yeah. And come see. What?
I built the pram. I picked the wheels in. Does that count?
So it did require a little bit of assembly then.
Put the wheels in. Ah. Great success.
Yeah, great success. What do you reckon, Daisy?
Well done. Looks nice that.
Give me a pop. That's a dead ladybird, you don't need that.
Oh.
Let's change the dog.
Oh, don't. She'll hate this room before she's even started.
It's okay, Poppy. Where do you want him?
Where those two big boxes are.
Oh. Well, whiz the Hoover across the air. There's quite a lot of shit knocking around from building all this.
Oh, Daisy, you're not happy with any of this, are you?
Go in. It's time. Bye bye car.
Bye bye.
Here he comes. What was that?
Bye, Felicia.
Oh, good riddance. Different cake.
Yeah, I got red velvet last time, it was excellent.
To explain this seat then.
Well, this is where Omar and Violet brought me last time to sit while we waited to find out that you had your surgery.
To find out that I wasn't
okay.
find out that I wasn't dead.
Well, yeah.
It's cute as heck though. Some friendly little pigeons down there having a good time.
That's the doggy meditation lounge there.
Oh, dog friendly lodge. Where you go and have a meditate with your dog. That's cute. There's some sheeps over there. You can see him in the background. There he goes. Look at that big house. Let's live there.
Oh, I would never be able to keep that clean.
No. That way or that way?
I don't know.
Imagine having your own little private church.
Private sheeps.
Private sheeps, yeah. Your favourite time of year, isn't it? We're having Filmception again. Filmception.
Yeah, it's possible. I don't think it's back to like don't like the bits in the middle.
You don't like it when it's too hot or too cold?
Yeah. I'm a lukewarm kind of gal.
The problem is it's never actually lukewarm, is it? Like today it's slightly chilly.
Yeah, and it's okay. I'm on the edge of what I'm doing.
Your donkey on the edge. Hello sheeps.
Just grab and fight.
That's rude. Is that a fight or is that a cuddle?
That's a fight.
Eh. Having a scrap.
I'll go back to the front.
It's cute.
Hi!
Here she is. Hello, sausage.
Yeah, good girl. I think she's got the pregnancy hormones.
Ah,
Have you?
yeah, she kept bringing her ball and playing, and then when I sat down on the bench and she's like squirming her way up or under your arm.
Oh, you just need snuggles.
Yeah.
Bless you.
So I made the most of it.
Another wonderful British day. Look at this. Sock.com. Horrible weather. Oh, super cute little outfit here. Ready for Bab. Emma wants this to be his little going home outfit. Look at his little ears. He also started to get ready with some baby stuff, nappies, etc. So 1 bag, 2 bag, 3 bag. I'm sure there's a 4th bag knocking around somewhere. Not sure where. Here we are, back again. Ready for an ass whooping?
Not mine.
Didn't expect to be back here so soon. Hi everyone. So the big update this week is that we've met with an obstetrician that actually listened and considered the fact that the brain tumour is going to be important and have an effect on things. So we're currently in a sort of waiting period. They've given us a bit of time to go away and have a think. I think we're pretty sure we know what we want to do. Again, I've had to make some notes, otherwise I'm not going to get this out in a straight line. So yeah, we met a different obstetrician who was the first person to give it any sort of consideration up to now. Everybody else has just batted it off, and you know, the one that Emma saw when I was actually in hospital basically shooed her off, mansplained an induction and told her to get out, which is disgusting to be honest, but I didn't go full Karen in the end. This guy was nice. So we went through the options of being able to have a bit of more control rather than just waiting and seeing what happens. The plan would have been, you know, brain tumour, ignoring that, the plan would have been to induce in the 39th week at some point, just purely because it was an IVF pregnancy, which is crap science anyway, I've said a few times. He was going through the pros and cons of C-section or induction and when they can happen safely. So we could have a C-section in the 37th week, or we could induce at the start of the 38th week. Induction is not very well controlled though. Once the induction process has started, we could be in and out of hospital every day to check things, and then if there's complications, Emma could end up having to stay in, and then Emma might be in hospital whilst I'm here and have the baby, and then I can't get there fast enough because I'm relying on phoning up my mum and dad who live 15 minutes away from here, and then it's a half an hour trip through to the hospital from where we live. So this guy seemed to get all that. He did explain that essentially C-sections are not the favoured, they're not dishing C-sections out as easily as they used to anymore. Somebody's done a study in Canada, I think he said, about it, and it's, they don't really like them by the sounds of it, but they still do them. So there was a bit of to-ing and fro-ing, and he was explaining that Emma would have to take some steroids on the run-up because the baby's lungs won't be developed enough otherwise, won't be ready. But we're just trying to consider what the safest option is for everyone. And the obstetrician, and he went and got one of the senior midwives as well at one point, who for the first time on that side of things, they're the only two who've really seemed to sort of click and get it right. Okay, there's 3 things to consider here. You know, normally it would be mum and baby, but now it's mum and baby and me. You know, so ignoring the fact that my treatment could overlap, one of the things to consider is that if we're in the hospital and there's lots of noise and sensory overload, I could be there but then not actually be able to be in the birth. You know, I could go into shutdown mode the same way I do in supermarkets. But that's just something we're just going to have to deal with when the moment comes, I think. As I said, yeah, the midwife and the obstetrician were both the first people to sort of weigh it up and actually consider all aspects of it. Back on the decaf now, got a new swanky coffee machine. Yeah, the midwife was very quick to jump to say, oh yeah, we should, C-section's the best bet, which, you know, a midwife saying that says a lot. You know, they would be the first ones to avoid a C-section if possible. But you know, the nice, gentle midwife-led birth centre type birth was taken away from us from day one purely because we'd had IVF. Again, down to that shit science I talked about earlier. Somebody's decided in an office that that's the way it should be done. As far as the IVF clinic were concerned, from 6 weeks on it was a normal pregnancy. But the maternity side of things disagree and said no, we'll be inducing you whether you like it or not, which is crap, but you know, hey ho. So given that was all off the table anyway, it seems like the C-section at 37 weeks would definitely allow me to be there. The other concern we had was that, you know, normally the partners aren't allowed to stay around. You know, it's sort of visiting hours, sort of 9 till 9, and then you're shooed off home overnight, but they phone you up if there's, you know, if delivery's happening on the assumption that you can drive. They phone you up and say, right, get here now. Given the context that I can't do that, they've agreed that the best option will be, you know, like once we're in the hospital, is that we're staying, and that we need a side room and that I can stay there as well. I don't think it would come to any of that though. I think a C-section nowadays is very much, you know, you turn up early in the morning, they do the procedure, and then there's some mums go home later that night. Because Emma's got gestational diabetes though, they've got to monitor the baby for at least 24 hours afterwards, to make sure that he doesn't go low with his blood sugars, or I'm not really sure what they're looking for, to be honest, but they've got to monitor him, and we know that already. So that the gestational diabetes also adds a complication. You know, I talked earlier about the lung development. It's one of the things that gestational diabetes does, is push back when the lungs develop. So that adds a layer of complication as to what the safest thing to do is. What's it got here? So I think all being told, from their point of view, the midwife suggested we do a section at 37 weeks and it can be done safely. I don't think Emma's ecstatic about the idea of having a C-section, but she seems to want to put it on the table given everything that's going on, and you know, you can guarantee that I'll be there and all of those sorts of things, which is crap that, you know, I feel like she's being forced into that situation, which is not something she would want to do, which is insisting that it's not. But yeah, it's rubbish. So once we were finished there, ironically, we had to whiz off then back to the fertility clinic where we'd been to do the IVF that led to this pregnancy. So that was all a bit triggering. Part of the chemotherapy, so the radiotherapy I don't think they're worried about, but the chemotherapy that's going to follow, there's a concern that it's going to affect my fertility. So we had to whiz off to there so that I can bank as much sperm as possible. So we've got another appointment in about a week. Leave a couple of samples. I also need to get some blood tests done because they're not allowed to bank anything until they can confirm that I haven't got hepatitis or anything like that. They did try and get blood off me yesterday, but I wasn't feeling great by the time they got to that point. It'd been a really busy day and I was feeling really flat. And she tried both hands and neither of them worked. So I ended up walking out with two cotton pads, one on each hand. Started to feel a bit like a pincushion, to be honest. Got multiple blobs on this hand. Now I've got one on this side. This bruise is still here. The line that was on here, the art line, that's kind of mended itself. That seems to have gone. But yeah, it's getting a bit daft now. I really hope they can just get the blood they need first time round at the next appointment. I'm also going to get stabbed again when we've got an MRI coming up. So on Remembrance Day at 11 o'clock, so as the silence starts, I'll be going into the machine. So they're going to need to put a cannula in for that, for the contrast. Probably in this hand again, it always seems to be in this hand. So yeah, really hoping that goes smoothly, because I'm getting a bit fed up of getting stabbed over and over again. When it comes to getting the chemo done, I'm going to get stabbed, but potentially every week. I don't really know what the regime is yet. So, but yeah, there you go. So there's not really much else by way of appointment updates and so on. So once we'd had the meeting with the obstetrician, we were able to come away then and phone up my consultant, my oncologist, or the oncology team rather, who've taken the information we now know, and they're essentially going to go and see if they can engineer it so that my treatment fits around that, and so that they're not going to try and call me in for starting the radiotherapy right on the right as the birth happens. They've been all really good with all of this sort of thing. They've sort of considered it from day one. It was the maternity side of things that was rubbish, but we seem to have got through to somebody who actually can talk sense now. But took their time, came through in the end. So just a bit rubbish. So the first guy was terrible. Still waiting on appointments for my mask fitting, and I think I've got to go for a CT scan on my head as well. So the appointment that's coming up on the 11th is that's an MRI. So yeah, I think she wanted a CT scan as well. I don't know what that will get her that the MRI doesn't. We had to come out to the shop for a few things. Emma needed some stuff for her hospital bag, and we also wanted to have a quick look at the chairs in Mamas and Papas. We've got our voucher from doing the personal shop there, so can't let that go to waste. So, that's our local Mamas and Papas. Probably also going to have a cheeky Greg's, and I imagine Emma will get a coffee. And the plan this afternoon, if I'm up to it, is to build some furniture, but we shall see.
For a boy.
Lovely shade of pink for a boy, yeah. You cosy there?
It is cosy, yeah.
So do you prefer that one to the other one?
What? I haven't got anywhere to put my head.
Maybe that's no good. Is that one actually high enough for you to put your head back though? Oh, this is all our stuff, isn't it?
Let's take note of what the wardrobe's supposed to look like before you build it
Yeah,
later.
there you go. Reference for later.
Oh, this is new. This is nice. How'd you pick that?
Hey?
That was there when we were here.
It wasn't there, was it? It wasn't an option.
Don't film me getting into this chair.
It's too late. I filmed all of that. Is that better?
It's not as comfy.
There's another one over there. And another one over there. Hospital bag shopping now. Little micro toiletries. Got your list. Ready for action. What have you seen? So as we walked into Mamas and Papas, the CNS team phoned up and I've got some dates now for my treatment. So let's have a look here. I've got to go for a pre-treatment scan on the 17th. Guess that's a CT scan, and the mask thing, they haven't given me a time yet. And then the treatment is due to start on the 5th of December, which at the minute is bang when we think Emma's going to be offered this C-section, so we need to speak to that side of things and check. And if that's the case, then my treatment will start the following week on the 12th, I think. Sounds like they're willing to be a little bit flexible there and make sure that we get the birth side of things done and fitted in. Trouble is that both sides seem to be waiting for the other to give a date for them to work around. So hopefully now that we've got a date from one side, definitive date, the other side will pull their finger out and give us something meaningful to go on. The oncology side seems to be willing to change, so fingers crossed that means that we're all good to go and everything's going to be okay. Hopefully. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.